So in terms of presidential pardons, the president just have to sign off on that, or can you recommend?
Not at all.
Okay.
The application is made to the Ministry of National Security. There is an advisory committee within the ministry headed by the Attorney General. They do all of whatever administrative, investigatory things they do, and they send to the president to say, we recommend you pardon A, B, and C, and they send the draft document, which the president has to sign off on. So even though it's called a presidential pardon, the president has no say whatsoever.
So you cannot write to the president and say, okay, we have 10 prisoners here, I want to pardon them. and
Not at all. And you see, you can understand why. Because the president doesn't have an investigatory function. So how will the president come to a decision? So people write here all the time. And you can't blame them because it's a presidential pardon. Right. And then we have to say, listen, we were sending you the link to the Ministry of National Security. The president is the last step. And I mean, one doesn't like to use the term rubber stamp, but it's the last step and the last official sign-off on the matter.
So you have been approached by citizens?
Oh, all the time. People write us all the time.
Right.
All right?
Okay.
So there are a number of little functions too, for example, people don't know about, that the president has the power of review and return and so on in certain things. So sometimes the customs may see something and the person passes through those steps and cannot get it returned. They can write to the president for the president to exercise a discretion on whether or not that should be returned. There are some areas too with taxation. There are some areas with pensions. So there are some very limited things in the law where the president has a discretion to do certain things, but they're very narrowly circumscribed by law.
So is there anything you would like to see added to the role of the presidency?
Yeah, well, same thing. Some degree of investigatory function. Because if you are asking the president to be responsible for identifying persons who are nominated to hold certain independent, very responsible, very weighty offices, I think the president should be enabled to do more than to go shoo-shooing around asking people what you know about X. So that if the president had a mechanism where certain checks could actually be made, where officially the president can send out persons to talk to the person's co-workers, if necessary their neighbors, all these things, then it would help the president to have a clearer picture and a better grasp of these persons before they are nominated. To me, that would be the biggest of the things that should be done at the office of the president.